Well, good evening and welcome to this week's podcast for Platform Launchers. I'm John Stange, and it's great to have you with us this evening because this week we're talking about what problem are you uniquely qualified to solve? So just think about that. What problem are you uniquely qualified to solve? Now, if you want to be a success in business or in blogging or in podcasting or any element of platform development, it's vital to have a clear understanding of the problem that you're uniquely qualified to solve. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about here. When I go online to search for something, I'm not usually searching for something random. Most often, when I go online, I'm searching for information that will lead me to the quickest solution to whatever problem I'm dealing with in the moment. And I think that's a common pattern for most people. We typically go online for answers and solutions that help us solve our daily problems. That's usually what we're looking for. We're usually looking for the quickest path to that solution, the quickest solution to whatever problem we happen to be dealing with in the moment. Now, if you're looking to create an online business, which I know many people are doing right now and many people are interested in doing, or if you're looking to create a message-based online platform, I think you'll have greater success if you can identify some problems that you happen to be uniquely qualified to solve. But what do I mean by uniquely qualified? Just think about that for a second. What do I mean by uniquely qualified? What does it mean to be uniquely qualified to solve a particular problem? Well, let me define that. First of all, let me ask this question, and this will help us define what it means to be uniquely qualified. What life experiences do you have that others haven't had? So just think about that for a second. What life experiences do you have that others haven't had? So when attempting to figure out how you're uniquely qualified, I think it's helpful to think about the life experiences that you've had that others have not had. So think about just the course of your life, the seasons of your life, different eras of your life. Did something happen during your childhood that you had to learn how to deal with it? Or have you been through a unique crisis during your adulthood that others could learn from, things that you could share about? Or are you dealing with special circumstances with your children that people often ask you questions about? So these are some life experiences maybe that you've had that others haven't had. Or how about this as a question to talk about, just what are you uniquely qualified to talk about? What have you become good at doing that would take others time to learn? So just a couple days ago, I discovered that our air conditioning was not working. And right now, the weather is fine where I'm at, although I saw later this week it's going to be close to 100. And so earlier today, I was waiting for the HVAC repairman to come to my house. I'd called him. I was waiting for him to come. Again, the other day, I noted that our air conditioning wasn't working properly. I know a little about HVAC maintenance. I know a little about HVAC repair, but not a lot. Usually, if I have a problem with our system, it's something I have to deal with or address once a year or twice a year, and it's usually something minor. And if it's something I can address, I address it. But a lot of times it's not, and so that's why I prefer to call in a professional when our system needs a repair. And the technician that we work with, he's installing and repairing HVAC units every single day. He knows what to look for. He knows how to install entire systems. He fixes problems in half an hour that would have taken me half a day or more to diagnose. And he already owns all the right tools to do the job. And so today when he showed up at my house, he looked at our system. He looked at the inside portion. He looked at the outside portion. And within moments, he had it figured out. Within moments, he knew exactly what the problem was, and he fixed it. And he was in and out. He probably, from the time he arrived at my house to the time he left, I don't even think it was 20 minutes. And I think half of that we spent just in conversation. So he had it fixed that quickly because he knew what to look for. And he also had the right tools to do the job. And when I look at the value that he's able to offer a homeowner like me, I'm immensely grateful that he offers his service to us. I'm happy to pay him for his knowledge, and I'm happy to pay him for his skill because that frees me up to focus on what I'm uniquely skilled to do instead of wasting my time and causing me needless frustration. And I bring that example up because I suspect that you're probably good at something that others haven't had the time to learn about. So this could be a key concept to revisit if you're attempting to create an online business or a message-based online platform. But here's another thing to be thinking about. What problems do you get excited about solving? So a few weeks ago, I hosted an office hour for the members of our online community. I usually do this maybe once a month, and we just try and help with questions related to all aspects of platform development. So there isn't some game plan going into this. We don't even know exactly what's going to come up during these office hours. And so during the call, I received questions about all sorts of elements of platform development. And during our most recent call, I was asked about podcast development specifically, and then also a question about finding your RSS feed so that you could share the podcast. I was asked a little bit about marketing, was also asked about writing blog content, and a few other subjects. And I remember as we were going through the conversation, talking about a variety of these things, the hour literally flew by. Felt like as soon as it started, it was over. And I left that call feeling completely energized. Now, why did I feel so energized at the end of that call? Well, I think the time went quickly, and I think I felt so good because I was helping others figure out things that I've taken the time to learn over the course of many years. And I get excited about helping people solve problems like this because it helps them experience quicker success with what they're attempting to build. And I think in general, I think most of us tend to feel pretty good when we're able to help improve another person's quality of life. And I love what Jesus said when you look at Acts chapter 20, verse 35. He made the comment, he says, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." I don't know if you've ever heard that phrase before. I would assume you probably have. It's worked its way into just common language. But he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. There's something about the way we've been designed that brings us a sense of delight, and it brings us a sense of purpose when we have the opportunity to use our knowledge and our skills to help somebody else. It just feels good. And so, in the example of that office hour call that was very open-ended and people could ask whatever they wanted to ask, it was a very interesting thing when I observed just how quickly that time went by and just how I personally felt afterward. I felt good. I felt like I was able to offer help to other people, and I felt like the time went quickly. So just think about this for a second. What questions do you get excited about answering? What questions do you get excited about answering? Or what problems do you enjoy attempting to solve? If you can figure this out, you'll very likely find yourself on your way to developing a successful online platform or business. If you get good at answering questions that people actually are asking, and if you get good at solving problems that people are looking for help to solve, you're going to be successful. You're going to develop an online platform or a business that helps a lot of people. But I want to give you a few examples of some people that I know that are doing this. One, I'm going to start off here with a member of Platform Launchers. Kent Sanders is a member of Platform Launchers, and he's built a business around his unique ability to help others solve a problem. Kent is an author. He is a ghostwriter. He's also the host of the Daily Writer podcast. His entire platform and his entire business, it's centered around helping people write. So some of his clients hire him to help write their books. And by the way, he's got a really big book coming out very, very soon. You're going to be able to find it in any bookstore you're in here in the United States. So keep your eyes peeled for his name, Kent Sanders. And I don't know what I'm allowed to share about it, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut and let that news be his. But keep your eyes peeled for something with his name that's going to be coming out very, very soon. But clients hire him to help him write books. The people in his membership, so he has a membership group, they pay him for his writing help and for his inspirational guidance. Also, he hosts a daily podcast, The Daily Writer. So his podcast listeners, what they're doing is they come to him for daily insight and daily wisdom related to writing. And Kent has found a very specific problem that he enjoys helping others solve. And by the way, if you're listening to this podcast, be sure to check out the Daily Writer podcast with Kent Sanders. It's excellent. It's very good. All right, someone else, Nick Loper. I'm going to be having lunch with Nick next week. And Nick is an author, and he's the host of the Side Hustle Show podcast. And he's been involved in a variety of self-employed entrepreneurial efforts over the course of his adult life. And then he eventually realized that he had a passion for creating just useful content that help teach others how they can develop secondary sources of income that might eventually become their primary source of income. And so his show has been downloaded millions of times, I believe, at this point. And the counsel that he offers, these have become very popular in the world of entrepreneurship. And this came out of the fact that he had done a whole bunch of research for himself and some of the things he was looking to build. And so now Nick Loper is helping people with the Side Hustle Show. He's doing this all the time. He's got a weekly podcast, and it's something definitely worth checking out. But he figured out a unique problem that he was uniquely qualified to solve because of the research that he had done. Let me give you another name, Art Rainier. Some of you might know the name Thom Rainier. Thom Rainier is Art's father, and Thom Rainier writes a whole bunch on church health and ministry health and pastoral health. Well, Art Rainier, his son, is an author, and he's also the host of the More Than Money podcast. He's got a passion for wisely stewarding his personal finances. And over the years, he's come to see just how important this issue is to most individuals and most married couples. And so to help others learn how they can also steward their personal finances in a wise manner, Art began creating content that teaches these principles. He also teaches these concepts through in-person training opportunities. I had the opportunity to meet Art last year, and we struck up a friendship. And it was interesting because I already owned one of his books, and he and I were talking. And then it dawned on me as he and I were talking. I said, "Wait a second, Art Rainier." I said, "Are you an author? Do you write?" And he said, "Oh yeah." And I said, "You know what? I have one of your books." And then we were just kind of laughing about that and chatting about that. And so anyway, check out his podcast if you get the opportunity to do so. It's called the More Than Money podcast. And again, his name is Art Rainier, but that's the unique problem that he's solving. He's uniquely qualified. He's figured this out. He's focused on this in regard to his own finances and his own life. And now he's helping others as they're trying to focus on this as well. So let me just ask this in kind of summary here as we wrap up this concept. What's next for you? If you have the desire to build an online business or a message-based online platform, I'd encourage you to give serious thought to the problems that you're uniquely qualified to solve. Because once you identify those problems, you'll be on your way to developing systems and content that can aid others as they're trying to solve them as well. So that's something to keep in mind. That's something that you want to really think about. What are you uniquely qualified to help other people with? What are you uniquely qualified to help in regard to certain problems that people have? Because that's what people are going to the internet searching for. They're looking for help with their problems. And if you're able to save someone time, and if you're able to save someone effort and pain and inconvenience, you may have a business opportunity right in front of you, or you might have the genesis of an online platform, a message-based platform that people may start to come to you as the subject matter expert. I'll even tell you, a big part of my motivation for starting Platform Launchers was the fact that over time, I noticed people asking me more and more questions related to platform development, podcasting, writing, blogging, speaking, YouTube, all those different things that I've been working on for years. And I realized this is the problem that others are seeking a solution that will be quick and affordable for them to be able to solve. And so this is what I started to try and help meet that need. I have another friend. His name is Jeremy Lewis, and he just started a YouTube channel called Handyman Academy. So you could check that out. But one of the things that he's doing is he's a professional handyman, and he's starting to utilize that content and the things that he knows to teach others how they can do some household repairs and some of the other things that they've got going on that he can save them time with. And he's becoming a subject matter expert in that as he's sharing his knowledge. So if you know a problem that you could solve, something you're uniquely qualified to help other people with, that right there may be your next business. That right there might be the message-based platform that you're uniquely positioned to help others with. Now, in just a second here, I'm about to have good conversation with our members club. By the way, those of you that are in our members club, if you have your mic muted right now, just unmute it real quick and say hi to those listening on the podcast so they know that I'm not making this up.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. All right.
Hello.
Excellent. All right. So we've got a whole bunch of people from around the country. They join us for these calls each week. We would invite you to join us as well. And in fact, if you want to take a free 2-week test drive of the Members Club for Platform Launchers, just go to platformlaunchers.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, and you'll see that there's a 14-day free test drive right there for you so that you could join us, hopefully, on an upcoming call. But right now, it's time for us to have some Q&A as a group. Those of you listening on the podcast, thank you so much for joining us this week. And we look forward to catching you again next time.